if the victims have anything in common as far as who these people are targeting?
Well, really no clear similarities between the three robberies had over the last week, and suspect information varies with all three. So right now, is there a connection? We can't say for sure, but certainly through the investigative process we hope to determine that. But we've got different descriptions of suspects, different vehicles described. So we're certainly going to run down all those leads, and some things are similar, but it's just hard to say if they're connected for sure.
It says in this one that the couple was in their early 70s. Were the other victims older people too, or?
The first robbery on Great Oaks, they were older, and the robbery on Glenda was not in that age category, so wouldn't necessarily look at that as a possible connection, but just a couple of them are similar.
The one last night was a gated community. How did he get in?
Well, we don't know for sure. We're going through our investigative process. We're doing everything we can to, the residents they were just awoken, by some breaking glass, and we're not really sure exactly how the suspect got to that point. So it does back up to a fence line on the south side of the property. We're on Poplar Pike. It is a gated community. We don't know, all the functionality of the system, and so that's certainly something we hope to figure out.
They were robbed. What did he actually steal?
Well, he just got away with jewelry and small items like that, cash.
My assignment desk was telling me there was some talk that possibly the suspect was making some comments regarding Ferguson. Is that true?
No, I don't know.
You don't know about that?
No.
Is there a certain MO with these guys? Do they ring doorbells or anything?
No, the first two that we had were just people getting out of their car at their house and just caught off guard, just kind of appeared out of nowhere, according to the victims. And the one last night, people were at home and just heard the glass breaking, and all of a sudden you see somebody in your house that doesn't belong there.
So since the couple had to take the suspect to a Memphis area, do you think you guys are going to get any help from Memphis Police? Or are they going to get involved too? Or?
Well, sure. We've already reached out to MPD, and we'll work with the other law enforcement agencies. Sometimes crimes that we have, are not unique to one jurisdiction or another. So we're certainly, we've already reached out to them, and we'll work all the investigative leads. Does that area have any significance? We don't know, but we certainly will do everything we can to follow up.
Can you go back over what happened last night, about what time, and just step by step?
Just about 11:30, the homeowners over in the Nottaway subdivision on Hazleton were just awakened and alarmed to find somebody that had entered their house. The suspect entered in, was armed with a pistol, and just demanded that they cooperate and give up some of their personal items, some jewelry and cash, and was there for a little bit, and decided when he left, he had them actually drive him to an area south of Winchester and Kirby, down in that area, and where they let him out, and they were able to return back to the house, and they called us at that time.
Roughly, in an average year, how many of these residential armed robberies will Germantown experience?
Sometimes none, less than 5. Very, very unusual. All the robberies, we're very fortunate that these types of crimes are very few throughout the year, and we're thankful for that. So we've got a pretty good track record on the investigative side, and we'll continue to be proactive out in the field, and hopefully sooner rather than later we'll be able to solve all
So it seems like it'd either be incredibly coincidental or copycat or connected. One of those three?
Well, certainly you can't escape the thought that what are the similarities? Are they connected? We rarely have one, then we have more than one in a short time period. We're going to look at all angles of that, and see what we can figure out on the investigative side, draw the similarities, and then go from there to see where the investigation leads us.
Was anyone hurt? Any victims hurt?
Oh, that's I guess thankfully in none of the cases nobody's been injured, so we're very thankful for that. and so that's been one good thing, I guess.
And just to touch on that, I mean, it's, you know, this particular case was really unusual with the fact that they had to drive them someplace. So how are the victims doing? How's this couple doing? Are they?
Well, I mean, as you can imagine, they were shook up last night. You know, all three cases. You know, the victims have been shaken up. You know, it's not something you expect, but pretty composed. I'm told last night as far as cooperating, giving us good information. So I think they, once the initial shock wears off, they compose themselves and were able to provide a lot of good information.
I've spoken to a lot of residents in Germantown. Everybody's talking about this. I mean, what can you say about what you're doing to get these guys off the street?
Well, I could say we're doing a lot, and we were doing, that included last night. Since last week we've had extra resources of different types and different modes out in the field, and we certainly have a reputation for being very proactive anyway, and we certainly have not ceased in that regard. But we've got additional resources dedicated to different areas of the city and really all over the city, and also working on the investigative side with the other agencies. Are there any similarities in other jurisdictions around here? So this certainly is top priority, and we are not sparing any resource. I would say that.
That drive from the subdivision down to, I guess, Hickory Hill, that's a fairly long drive. Was there any attempt at conversation? If so, what did the guy say?
I believe there was some conversation, but just, for right now, we don't want to release any of that kind of information.
Okay. It seemed like Poplar was crawling with your SUVs today. Just how concentrated is it? How many do you have out there more than usual?
Well, I won't say how many, but it's, quite a few more officers. Some of them would be noticeable, some maybe not as noticeable. So, yeah, it should be. It is certainly a concerted effort to add staffing out there in the field.
Did it surprise you that this happened inside a gated community?
Very unusual. Very unusual. Absolutely. Yeah.